Hello. Let's today let's talk about art, and we'll look at how broad it is. And we'll break down some certain things so we get to understand why everything is accepted in art. And growing up as an artist, when I started, we all know the kind of basic thing they call art, the fundamental art, capturing moments, capture picture through drawing and stuff like that. But from these, we have gotten into different let's say categories rather than types of the same said art, and all are acceptable. The fundamental drawing or painting, sitting close to, let's say, and an abstract drawing, and yet we find it hard to differentiate both drawing, because most people see them in the same category. Some people believe the emotions gotten from this, and not necessarily just I believe the emotions gotten from this exist in these too. And today we are seeing even more contemporary arts that have gone completely bizarre and gone completely wide, like someone taping a banana on a canvas and still calling it art. And we have to ask ourselves, how did all this happen? How did it break down from different points or different stages and become this open or exposed, rather, that everything is accepted in art? And this is how I want us to approach it, so we understand what really happened. So we have our fundamental art, pinpointed earlier, which is drawing or painting, capturing form. But now, still from that said art, we get something like Pollock, the abstract stuff, and other artists too. But let's say abstract art. Now, can we stop them right there and say that is not art, or it's not the same thing as Peter Paul Rubens? The answer is simply no. And this is one of the reasons. If the breakdown did not start with abstract art, it started with impressionism. For example, we have an artist, the kind of artist you're familiar with, who knows perspective and everything, draw a tree, and he draws his tree quite well, and then the impressionist comes in, and the same tree he sees, rather than capturing what he sees and interpreting it in his own way through painting, rather than doing that, he believes he needs to go beyond what he sees. And surely that is all the idea of painting. I've said it countless times. We are seeing the world through the eyes of the artist, and now the impressionist believes he sees it uniquely, or he has a unique point of view, and he's trying to tell. So rather than capture the exact form like the realist does, he comes in and maybe he uses color, and then maybe let's say he's spontaneous with his line. He paints outside the line, stuff like that. But most of the time it's colors, and then his does not look exactly like the tree that ought to be captured, but he creates his own thoughts. And now, why can't we say this is art, this isn't art, or this fails to live up to the standard of the realist? And that is where, and if you read about impressionists, the early impressionists, they faced this problem being rejected by the salons and stuff like that, because their works were deemed as not good. Because most people thought the easiest way to just classify these guys were, you don't know how to draw, you don't know how to paint, that is why you are going for this cheap stuff. Now, maybe, let's say, for example, let's be a little bit realistic and say, truly, to some extent, maybe the individual, the painter, don't know how to draw. There are most that not know how to draw as things in impressionism. But the reason we can't throw them under the bus is because in the grand scheme of things, the fundamental thought, the idea of passing your own vision, interpreting the world in your own way, they are doing that same thing. And now, I've said this countless times that the finished work, the finished painting of an artist, a painter, a sculptor, any artisan, belongs to the viewer and not artists. The people who fail to allow the impressionist works into the salon were artists, critics of art. So they believed this thing you are doing is not art and should not be allowed in as art. But now the viewer, the one in which the finished work is meant for, look at the same art, and now the way the trees are, the way the colors are. Unfortunately for the realist, because and we'll also see why our fundamental art, because understand, we'll see what this gave birth to. Now, why did the fundamental realist start kind of breaking down? Not completely broken, but start breaking down. One of the reasons was also because of the camera. And early artists too were using the camera. They were even kind of masters, of the camera. Camera captures form. So if you are still going to capture the same form realistically, or even let's say hyper realistically, you are wasting your time. Camera can do that. But did the camera kill the artist? No. The realist? No. The camera did not. You can see even today we have photographers, we have cinematographers. Why do we have these individuals, these professions, this career? Mainly because everyone knows that capturing the form exactly as we see it is boring. Even when I draw, we change some things. There's bad pictures, so we need photographers to create something worthwhile, something that calls the audience. So camera did not end the work of realist. If you look at paintings of Sargent, you understand far more better than a picture. So then what happened? So this is where the impressionists began to get their voice. Even earlier than that, the viewers started, as I always say, the viewers they own the finished piece, they start noticing that the message surely they got from this existed also in this, and they wanted those messages, seeing the world in a new way. And the colors, the realists were kind of minimal with the colors. They were, they paint what they see as one does, but they fail to not all the time, but you are capturing this color and you are kind of limited to the color you see. But these impressionists, they did not care. They wanted to go crazy, bizarre with the whole thing. Capture, turn a tree blue. You look at the work of Van Gogh, and you see how he went crazy with the whole thing. And that is why, unfortunately, in his lifetime, kind of failed as an artist. Like, he did not make anything. And why is that? It's just mainly because his work definitely was limited to individuals who had the mind that art is just supposed to be realistic and a true copy of the natural of what is seen or what is being drawn, realistic. So his work, he knew how to capture form, but definitely you see the way he paints was looked at as, maybe you don't know how to paint, but he was telling his own truth. And after a while, the audience did see that there was something there definitely in his painting, and there was a message in the painting that they loved to see. Now, this is where we come to the next part. So, realist push to impressionism, or push became impressionist, and this is the part that produce abstract. And why I say there definitely were other processes or breakdowns and things that came about before we got to abstract, but from this point, this is where abstract come in. And abstract, this is the difference. I'll show you something you will understand. So the realist has emotion, fundamental art, perspective, stuff like that, perspective forms. So we have, let's say, visually appealing, emotionally appealing, and then last we say realistic. And that was one thing with the realist art, realism. But now impressionism killed this, took the others but killed this. Rather than be realistic, they dropped that aside. We are not trying to copy the world anymore. The camera is there. We are taking it to another level. And when you look at works of Sargent, J.C. Leyendecker, you kind of notice the gradual breakdown. J.C. Leyendecker, you can see his background. He shows you the strokes. He has his character here. Even on the character, his shadow, he shows you, some strokes on the painting, and it's wonderful. Same thing with Sargent. Sargent makes a lot of painting, and this one stroke like this can be edge of a table, and it reads beautifully. They were not concerned with blending the whole thing anymore to a finished work. Everything was blended, and slowly these things we talk about, it was a gradual process. First, Carlos Durant paint outside the line. Before you know, from painting outside the line, your brush strokes and different things. If you look at Peter Paul Rubens, or if we even go back to Caravaggio, you see how a lot of Leonardo da Vinci, a lot of blending. I think Leonardo da Vinci's work on Mona Lisa, I think it took 12 years or 16 years, can't really remember the precise time, for that painting to come about, because they were really into those fine details. And most people say they were not painting, they were coloring. They make the lines and then they subject themselves to those lines and blend, so everything looks fine. Cups is standing out like the form, even cups in shadow, cups in dark, that don't have much, like everything is well rendered, detailedly. But then you have people like Carlos Durant who come now and say we are painting outside the line, we are going away from all those things, and this is what I'm saying. Did not start with Carlos Durant, did not start with Sargent. We go back as far as I think Velasquez. I think he started the whole thing and had much impact in the life of Sargent, and definitely he's a master also. So these are the things we see. It was a gradual process. It started dying off slowly, but realism was not enough anymore, and now you have this. Sargent fall kind of between these 2 points. He was still there, but he was still using this impressionist. He had friends who were impressionists. So then, from impressionism now, a new idea also emerged, and they killed impressionism, because this was replaced, as I said, in this category. Impressionism replaced realism or realism. So what then happened? Impressionism came in a lot of colors and different other stuff. But abstract now, and remember I always say it took a lot of process, but abstract painting took impressionism out. And from abstract painting, it did not just take impressionism out. They were no longer interested in even copying or looking at the world anymore. Yeah, they still took, let's say they still took, they focused more on emotional appeal rather than visual appeal. But visual appeal was still there. We have art, it's just shapes, shapes, splashes. Look at stuff like Pollock, and we can't say this is no longer art. If you look at a big painting, Raphael's painting, like Angelo, the Sistine Chapel. There's also one big painting, I've forgotten the name, like Descending into Hell by Peter Paul Rubens. Forgotten the name. I'm not sure that's the name, but it's a big painting with people falling into hell. But it's big, and if you are looking at it from afar, you can't see the characters very well. So what you see is something like this, and it's not that different from something like from Pollock and stuff like that. So now the abstract gave us this, and what did they really give us? They were no longer interested in capturing the physical world anymore. They believed they were beyond that. Camera has captured that. Let's leave the world for itself. And this is where we get to see that art for art's sake. I'm not a firm believer of that philosophy, art for art's sake. I don't think. I think even if if you want to do abstract art, you still ought to have a message you are trying to pass on, the opinion and the feeling you are trying to pass. It shouldn't be watered down as like saying writing for writing's sake. We write ABCDs and words all through the pages that have no meaning in the name of being writers for writing's sake. No, everything should be the passing of an idea or a message through the forms and tools available to us, to our audience. So, but this is how then we got here to abstract art, and they were no longer interested in capturing what they saw anymore, but they were strongly into emotional appeal. And unfortunately, the audience still loved it. And this is what I've been saying about the audience are the owners of the finished work, not the owners of the process. I say when I paint, if you look at other videos where I talk about painting, I say the process belongs to the artisan, it belongs to the artist, but the finished work, unfortunately, has nothing to do with us. We only look at the finished work to critique ourselves, and we are bad in this area, we are good in that area. But other than that, it's not of our business anymore. If you want to sell it, you sell it. If you want to keep it, if it's close to you, keep it. But other than that, it has nothing to do with us anymore. It's the process that is our business, and it's what pushes us, it's what inspires us to be stronger and better artists and craftsmen. So then from here, no much appeal. Emotional appeal now stands strong here. Now this is where we then get into a problem, because if we are now appealing to the emotion, and this is why I say it blew up, because first there was still visual appeal, but now visual appeal is dulled down to patterns and shapes. That is all it is. And this is what I say. I like I said earlier, it did not just go from impressionism to abstract. They were processing it just dulled down. From impressionism, then you start seeing people like Picasso. Picasso is like the bridge. He's kind of art, cubism, stuff like that. It's the bridge between impressionism and abstract art. But also there are still other artists that dial this stuff down. It's just a process of the audience starting to see that there are other things beyond capturing a horse, capturing landscape, capturing the heavens, capturing different things, and saying, okay, we just get the emotional appeal. Surely, as some people say, there were other influences. People say by the capitalist and stuff like that. But no matter how you see, the capitalist also is part of the audience. Still part of the audience, so we can't, no matter which agency or which organization influence what, it's still part of the audience, and that's why I say we can't control that. So best we put our mind in the process, and the finished work should definitely be played on as far as they want to, for they are all parts of the audience. So since emotion was now the new target, and visual appeal wasn't informed, Picasso, we get to a point where someone tapes a banana on a canvas and calls it art. And we ask ourselves, is this really art. And the unfortunate truth is yes, but it's a visual art. They have completely left us on the other side. But even it being seen, the art disappearing, it still stands as art. Unfortunately, because it's appealing to the emotion, the audience are interested, for not necessarily for its being visually pleasing, but for the silliness, it's still part of us. The emotion is where everybody is kind of making their bet now. So you have animals' footprints as art even to this day. So as far as there's a story to the whole thing, the whole point, it still stands. And we learn fundamental, we learn perspective, we learn forms, we learn anatomy, we learn composition. But much of emphasis really started from that composition and slowly dwindled down to impressionism and other stuff till God's year. And it's all the other things we learn are no longer appealing to the audience, but something funny, something silly. Someone carries paint and pour all over himself, and they say it's art because some people are interested in that. If you check TikTok, most of the things that go viral are things that are funny, silly, things that are colorful, playful, and they get millions of views, billions of views, because it's more appealing. It's more appealing than sitting down, for hours to watch a good cinematic movie. It's far more appealing. It's fast. It's quick. The same thing applies to art. They don't want. Unfortunately, the eyes of the audience have been so dulled and watered down that they don't want to see a fully rendered painting with all cool things. Maybe landscape with cool environments, foreground, background, middle ground, and all they want to see, is a taped banana on the canvas, and that speaks to them. So there are still people that want to see the trend. There are still people that will go to the cinema to see, the Odyssey and other stuff like that. So don't be discouraged. The audience are still there. But most of the people, we can't throw this under the bus. Like contemporary art, people doing different things, different styles, different things. They're all there. Some of them we find silly, but unfortunately it's still part of art. I wanted you to see it from this perspective rather than see it from the educational perspective, where they say this is art, this is art, this is art. This is one of the reasons, if we trail it back even from the fundamentals, we can't throw them under the bus for being a little bit weird or off or cringe. So I hope you learned something from this one. Thank you for sticking around with me. If you like the video, make sure you like it. If you have any question, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.